It was a Tuesday afternoon, 4 years into what I thought was a perfect relationship, when Elliot looked me dead in the eye and said, "I don't think you're wife material." He ended our engagement right there, leaving me reeling. I should have seen it coming, maybe, but I was too blinded by what I thought was love. And what he did next, well, that just cemented my resolve to never let anyone define my worth again. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm excited to share my story with you. I hope you can learn something from it. Please let me know in the comments where you're listening from. I love hearing from all of you. Those words, "I don't think you're wife material," echoed in my head for weeks after. 4 years. 4 years I'd spent molding myself into the woman I thought he wanted.
I traded my favorite jeans for dresses he preferred, toned down my boisterous laugh, and even started pretending to enjoy golf just to spend time with him. Looking back, I barely recognized myself. The apartment we shared suddenly felt like a prison. Every corner held a memory, every object a reminder of what I'd lost, or rather, what I thought I'd lost. Packing my belongings felt like peeling off layers of a false skin. I was shedding the woman I'd become for Elliot, and beneath it, I hoped the real Sarah was still waiting. My best friend Monica was my rock during that time. She helped me find a small, sunny apartment in a completely different part of the city, far from Elliot's carefully curated world. The first few nights were the hardest. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional siren wailing in the distance. I tossed and turned, replaying our relationship in my mind, searching for clues I'd missed, red flags I'd ignored. Slowly, though, something started to shift. I began reclaiming pieces of myself I'd willingly surrendered. I dusted off my old guitar, started painting again, and reconnected with friends I'd drifted away from. It was like waking up from a long, suffocating dream. One Saturday afternoon, Monica dragged me to a barbecue at her brother's place. I was hesitant. Parties were still a challenge, the forced small talk grating on my nerves. But Monica insisted, promising good food and even better company. That's where I met Wyatt. Wyatt was Monica's brother's best friend. He was tall, with kind eyes and a disarming smile that crinkled the corners of his face. He wasn't Elliot. He didn't try to impress me with his accomplishments or subtly critique my choices.
He just listened. Really listened when I spoke. We talked for hours that afternoon about everything and nothing. He asked about my art, my dreams, my fears. He didn't offer solutions or advice, just genuine interest and understanding. It was refreshing, almost intoxicating. As the weeks turned into months, Wyatt and I grew closer. He didn't try to change me. He celebrated my quirks, embraced my flaws, and made me feel comfortable just being myself. He loved my jeans, laughed at my jokes, and even feigned interest in my abstract paintings. One evening, as we were walking through the park hand in hand, he stopped and looked at me, his eyes filled with a tenderness that made my heart skip a beat. "Sarah," he said, "I really like you. I like you for you, and I want to see where this goes." I didn't hesitate.
More than I thought I could like anyone again. Meanwhile, I started hearing things about Elliot through the grapevine. Apparently, he had moved on quickly, dating a woman named Daisy. According to Monica, he was telling people I'd had a mental breakdown after the breakup, conveniently painting himself as the innocent victim. The audacity, the news stung not because I still had feelings for him, but because it felt like a betrayal of my character. He was rewriting our history to make himself look better, and it infuriated me. Wyatt, bless his heart, just listened patiently as I vented. He didn't dismiss my anger or tell me to let it go. He simply held me close and reminded me that Elliot's words didn't define me. 6 months into our relationship, Wyatt and I decided to move in together. It felt natural, easy. Our differences, instead of causing friction, seemed to complement each other. I was spontaneous and impulsive. He was grounded and practical. I brought the chaos, he brought the calm. We found a cozy little house with a big backyard, perfect for my art projects and his meticulously planned garden. It wasn't just a house, it was a home, filled with love and laughter. Around the same time, I heard that Elliot and Daisy were moving at warp speed. Engaged after only a few months, planning a lavish wedding. It all felt a bit desperate. Then, out of the blue, Elliot started contacting me. At first it was just innocent texts, asking how I was doing, saying he missed our conversations. I kept my responses short and polite, not wanting to stir up any old feelings. But then the messages became more frequent, more insistent.
He started apologizing for the way he'd ended things, claiming he'd made a mistake. He said he hadn't appreciated me enough, that he realized how much I meant to him. I was wary. His words felt hollow, insincere. After everything he put me through, I couldn't trust him. Elliot, I appreciate the apology. I texted back, but I've moved on. I'm happy now. That's when he crossed the line. Happy? You're engaged to someone you've only known for a few months? Don't you think you're rushing into things? The nerve. I'd blocked his number immediately. I didn't owe him an explanation, or anything at all. A few weeks later, Monica called, her voice brimming with barely contained glee. Guess what? Elliot and Daisy broke up. Apparently, their whirlwind romance had crashed and burned as quickly as it had ignited. The details were sketchy, but Monica hinted at infidelity and a whole lot of drama. I felt a pang of something, not happiness exactly, but perhaps a sense of vindication. He had thought he could trade me in for a newer model, but it had backfired spectacularly. Meanwhile, Wyatt and I were busy planning our own wedding. It was small and intimate, held in the backyard of our little house, surrounded by our closest friends and family. Monica was my maid of honor, beaming with pride. As I walked down the aisle, I saw Wyatt standing there, waiting for me, his eyes shining with love. In that moment, I knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Even on my wedding day, Elliot tried to reach me. He called my phone repeatedly, but I ignored it. Finally, Wyatt, noticing my unease, answered it. I couldn't hear what he said, but I saw his expression harden. He spoke briefly, then hung up. Don't worry about him, Sarah, he said, taking my hand. Today is about us. And it was. It was perfect. Life settled into a comfortable rhythm after the wedding. We were happy, content, building a life together based on love, trust, and mutual respect. A year later, we threw a housewarming party to celebrate our new home. We'd finally saved enough to buy a place with even more space, a real dream come true. The backyard was filled with laughter, music, and the aroma of barbecue. As I was mingling with our guests, I saw a familiar figure standing near the gate. It was Elliot. My heart sank. What was he doing here? He walked towards me, a sheepish expression on his face. Sarah, he said, can we talk? I hesitated, then nodded. We walked away from the crowd to a quieter corner of the yard. I just wanted to say congratulations, he began, his voice strained. You look happy. Thank you, Elliot, I replied, my voice cool. I know I messed up, he continued. I know I hurt you, and I'm truly sorry. I appreciate that, I said. But it's in the past. I've moved on. He looked at me, a strange glint in his eyes. But don't you see, Sarah? I made you who you are today. I helped you become the woman Wyatt deserves. You weren't ready before. I shaped you into someone worthy of being his wife. I stared at him, stunned. The arrogance. The audacity. He still didn't get it. Elliot, I said, my voice firm, you didn't make me anything. I became the woman I am today because of my own strength, my own resilience, my own journey. My worth doesn't come from you or anyone else. It comes from within. His face fell. He finally sighed. The truth he had been so desperately trying to avoid. I was happy, successful, and fulfilled, and it had nothing to do with him. Later that evening, as the party was winding down, Monica pulled me aside. "You won't believe what I just heard," she whispered. "What?" I asked, bracing myself for more drama. "Daisy is pregnant," she said, "and not with Elliot's baby. Apparently, she was seeing someone else before they got together, and he's the father." I shook my head in disbelief. The irony was almost comical. Elliot, who had dumped me for not being wife material, had been dumped himself by a woman who was pregnant with another man's child. I couldn't help but feel a sense of pity for him, despite everything. He was so consumed by his own ego, so desperate to control and manipulate, that he had ended up alone and miserable. As I looked at Wyatt laughing with our friends, I realized how lucky I was. I had found a man who loved me for who I was, not for who he wanted me to be.
I had built a life filled with love, laughter, and genuine happiness. And that, I knew, was worth more than all the gold in the world. I learned that a woman's worth doesn't come from a man's approval, but from her own self-love, resilience, and the courage to embrace her true self. Some people try to tear you down, but the important thing is to find someone that builds you up and celebrates you for who you are. And that's my story. I hope it inspires you to embrace your own worth and never settle for anything less than you deserve. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories like this.